Hi, I'm Nat. Today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you tips on how to get a beautiful, shiny, smooth blow dry. And we're going to be focusing on two things in particular. The brush that is going to be used and why I use that brush to get that kind of finish. And I'll also mention the hairdryer that I'll be using. But the techniques and little tips along the way, that I have so many to share with you. So if you'd like to see how to get a really nice, smooth, silky finish from blow drying with your hairdryer and a brush, we are not using straighteners in this tutorial. Stay tuned and enjoy. So I'm going to start from this point. I have dried my hair off. I started by putting in my moisturiser. I did use a spray. I shook it up, so I do that. A spray leave-in moisturiser. And I do that when my hair is quite wet after I've got out of the shower. And then I allow my hair sometimes just to dry a little bit. So it's still damp. And then I've put in some cream moisturiser. I've used it Just Smooth today. And then I've gone ahead and I've dried off my hair to what may look like 100% dry, but there's still a little bit of dampness within there. And from this point is where I'm going to start smoothing out my hair. Mention is when I dried my hair off, I did dry it off moving the top from side to side. So I don't blow dry to a part, and I suggest you don't do that either. And this is a great way of how to get a really nice finish at the front. So always blow drying crisscross in a way, that kind of direction. I'll show you again. So I dry it across to one side and then I come back to the other side. This does not matter, it's regardless of wherever your part will end up later and where you choose it to be, it does not matter. So to dry the hair off, you're going to go from one side to another and kind of in a forward direction. So we're kind of bringing it, you know, I went across that way, but I rarely go all the way back because we want to create and keep some volume through the front. My hair. So I will be using a wooden brush with ball bristles. Now, I honestly do find that this gives the smoothest and shiniest result. I have upgraded my brushes to also have a ceramic plate. So I don't know if you can see there, but there is a very thin plate that runs around here. It's a ceramic ionic plate, which will help repel a little bit of heat back off the brush, but not as much as a full ceramic brush. So the fact that this still has wood through the center, it will still absorb a lot of heat, so I'm not overheating my hair. I always do put it and emphasize a lot of stress on the fact that I try to keep control of the heat that I use on my hair. But we're talking today about how to get a really nice, smooth, shiny finish on your blow dry with body, and I will be using my wooden brush for that. So the other tip I'm going to share with you is starting from the front. So even though I've got the whole head to do and I have dried off my hair, we're going to start from the front. And I do think that this is a great tip for you because depending on how long your hair is, it is tiring blow drying your hair. But if you are starting right from the beginning, you're motivated, you're ready to go, and I suggest that you put all that motivation in starting from the front. And that way, if you do feel that you've kind of gotten tired and your arms are aching, or for whatever reason you decide to give up, at least the front's done. So that's where we're going to start from first, okay? I'm going to take a sectioning clip and I'm just going to take a slice from the side and just pull it over. Again, wherever my hair just landed there is where I'm just going to leave it. I didn't deliberately part it, and I'm not going to pull it down and create any kind of flat spots. So you will notice there will be no immediate parting or deliberate parting until I decide right at the end. I'm taking my sections about 2 inches wide through here. You want to keep it so it's possible for the air to evenly get through that whole depth. If you go too thick, then you're going to find that the air from the hairdryer is only really going to be doing the work through the top part of that section. I don't know if you know this, but roughly from here to here is 4 inches. So when we talk about inches, that's a guide right there. So, okay, on me, then that section's possibly around about the width of my 3 inches, okay? But it's very fine, so we're gonna get through. If you have very, very thick hair, I would take that down until maybe about 2 inches. Now I hope you're noticing where the hairdryer is. I have my top on so that I'm getting the air coming out a lot firmer through here. If I just use the whole round nozzle as it is, as it comes, you have no control over where the air blows. Sorry, I need to talk to you here. So I always use my nozzle. Some hairdryers, when you buy them, will come with two different thicknesses. I always choose the thinner one. So there's another little tip along the way. So I'm going slowly, and this is not just for your benefit. That is how fast I would go when I'm blow drying my hair, because you need the time and you need the control to make sure all those little wispy hairs, and I have a lot of them myself, particularly around the front section, get nicely pressed and pushed through. So you don't want the hairdryer directly down. You don't want it to be so far pointing in the direction that you're going that it's actually not even touching the hair. I see this a lot. You do want it to be angled so you are getting the direction of the air coming out of the hairdryer will be hitting and also pushing through the little finer hairs and smoothing across the longer hairs. And you're going to get a really nice result from that. And you may notice that with my brush, I have these plastic bristles that stick in between the ball bristles of my brush. And that is just for grip. It's not doing anything else other than helping the hair to hold and grip onto the brush. So what I do from there is I actually drag the brush out at that angle so that I have a nice clear space in which to put the hairdryer and apply the air through there. And then you'll see from where it wraps around the brush is nice and fluent and consistent for me to continue out from there. Okay, and then you do get a nice smooth finish. Now if you're seeing any fluffiness from here, it's because we're not doing that section yet, we're just doing the front. I'm going to start from the other side, and I'm going to get myself back up to about this point here. Now when I gather the hair, I'm not gathering a section wider or longer than my brush. You want the section of hair you're going to pick up to fit within the width of your brush. If it's longer than that, then when you find you roll your brush back into the hair, you'll get it tangling. So as soon as your hair exceeds the length of your brush is when you're going to get tangling or knotting, or find you get your brush caught in your hair, you have gone too wide. So it doesn't matter how much you've sectioned, how wide that is, so long as what you actually put into, what actually you wind around that brush fits within the length of that brush. So that's a really important tip and something that will help you stop getting so many tangles as well. The idea is we're not deliberately parting anything, and we're bringing it that way. And I will be gathering some hair that I have blow dried already, which is important to keep and avoid having a part at this point. We will part later, not now. Okay, so the cold air helps just, set the hair, get rid of that heat. You want the bonds to all reconnect in that smooth shape you've just formed, and it actually is nice to cool the hair down as well. But it is a great way to guarantee longevity from your blow dry. So you really want to cool that down. Once you're happy with the smoothness and the shape you've created, that's when you'll cool it down. Okay, so deciding on where you want your hair to go, that also can be decided right at the end. When you haven't blow dried to a part, you have the luxury of this nice fullness and movement that allows you to decide where you want to go that day. So, like I said, I tend to part my hair the other way, but sometimes the way the hair just folds itself over, it just sits quite nicely. Or if I'm getting, I just kind of let it move itself around, but you're going to get a nice kind of open, or an umbrella if you like, where it's still framing the face nicely. It's not pulled back away and you don't have to force it forward. Yeah, I mean, I would probably start from there and just see how my day goes. If during the day it moves around, that's fine too. but the important thing is you have that lift and you have that softness. So it's a great, for anyone who's got a tricky fringe, don't blow dry to a part, and always bring that all forward regardless of where your part is going to naturally fall later, and you'll just have a really nice finish and a really nice framing around your face. Take your time. Get the roots nice and dry. Concentrate on that angle and blow drying through this section until you're 100% happy, and then follow through to the ends. The ends are a lot faster to dry. We really do want to concentrate on getting that part right, and you'll be so much better off for the rest of your day, and you'll have a great style. Nice and smooth with lots of body. Now I'm going to do cool, and I'm just going to shake it right through that section. I'm going to wait this time for it to get a bit cool before I put it on my hair. I'll recap on is I actually am using a Parlex. It's the 385 Ionic ceramic, and if you're wondering what this little thing at the end is, I have it's called a melody silencer, and it just keeps the noise down just that little bit more, so that extends how long that hairdryer looks, because they're not actually that long, and they're quite light. It also does help having the ceramic and Ionic plate within the hairdryer, which the air blows through when you're styling your hair, does also aid into the smoothing process, so it does make a difference. So what I have done today has given us a nice shiny smooth finish. The techniques, just keep trying them, take your time. The slower you go, the more effective each section will be, so you don't actually have to redo it later. So take your time, try not to take sections too deep nor too wide, so we want to keep it within the brush. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to subscribe so you don't miss any further future ones that I'm going to do, please do. Also, if you want to share or like if you've enjoyed this, I would really appreciate it. And so if you have questions or even a suggestion for something you'd like to see, I'd really love you to send it through and introduce yourself. I'd love to say hi. So thank you for watching, and until next time.